All right, building a fortified business or building fortified businesses in a disruptive world, strategy, innovation, and human intelligence in the age of AI. I'm going to look at this topic from the subtopic perspective and break down what strategy means, what innovation means, and the relationship between human intelligence and the emerging world of AI. So what is strategy? I read a lot of material from Roger L. Martin, and he has a very simple definition of strategy. He says strategy is not a long planning document. It is a set of related and powerful choices that positions the organization to win. And in many cases, it may not be an organization, it may be a person. You're winning in your career, you're winning in your small business, you're winning in life. So, but the point is, you are making a set of choices. I'm going to break down strategy into three pillars, if I may call them that, which starts with this very notion that strategy is a set of coherent or integrative choices. So when you say coherent choices, it simply means that these choices make sense together. That when you look at choice 1, 2, 3, together they make sense. For example, if you are deciding that you want to sell consumer goods to the mass market, chances are that social media would be part of your marketing strategy, and you will probably be on a social media platform where you have a lot of people assembling, a lot of people generally assembling, rather than more specifically the LinkedIn's that assembles professionals, for example, or the mediums that assembles those who are very enthusiastic about reading. So in essence, when you look at the collection of choices you're making about how you want to do what you want to do, they basically connect. They are basically coherent. One of the things that making coherent choices does to you is that it constrains you, which means the fact that you have made choice A essentially means you have avoided or you have excluded choice B, depending on what those choices might be. For example, if you say, I'm going to focus in terms of location, I'm going to be in Lagos, I'm going to sell my products in the Lagos market, you are essentially saying, I'm probably not going to focus on Port Harcourt, on Abuja, and so forth. In essence, you are not saying that if you have clients from those locations, you will not sell to them. What you are saying is that your energy is focused in a particular location, and that location, that first choice is one choice, and now it constrains you basically because you have excluded other options. Another aspect or pillar of strategy is anticipating outcomes. Anticipating outcomes is basically guessing what might be. And Roger Martin talks about this in terms of the difference between making the choice that is reliant on historical data versus making a choice that is reliant on pure logic. Now, the future is uncontrolled from our perspective. We don't know what would happen in the future, but we make guesses, and guesses are sometimes the rationale for the decisions we make, because we anticipate that if we make this move, we are likely to get this outcome. And in some cases, it becomes more or less a game. We are making moves and anticipating that the opponent or the competitor will make a certain move that gives us an advantage. In essence, in the world of strategy, we are essentially playing a game where we are focusing on choices that give us the upper hand, right? That position us to create outcomes that are favorable to us. That give us an advantage. We are also focused on pouring our energy in the areas where we have the greatest advantage, because we want to outdo the competition. We want to outdo the competition in this game that we are playing, essentially. Now, so disruption and uncertainty introduce a certain dilemma to this world of strategy, because strategy is about big picture thinking. It's also about long-term thinking. The question becomes, how far should we stretch? Do you want to think 10 years ahead? Do you want to think 5 years ahead, 3 years ahead? Depend on your context. It depends on your context. Is the organization a big organization that is sinking $1 billion? Or are you just a small business that you don't know what might happen in the next year? You just want to plan for the next year. So it all depends. But disruption, uncertainty are kind of like considerations we must take into account when determining how much to stretch our long-term thinking. Now let's talk about innovation. Innovation is a learnable skill. It's not just about creating something new, it's about being relevant to your context. Think of it as a new way to do old things. There's a certain book called The Innovator's DNA, written by Clayton Christensen, Hal Gergersen, Jeff Dare, who have basically put together thoughts around the 5 core skills of disruptive innovators. These 5 core skills are associating, questioning, observing, networking, and experimenting. And how were these skills derived? How were these, how did they arrive at these thoughts that these are the 5 core skills that basically, define disruptive innovators? This was a 6-year study, and it was done across 3,000 executives and 500 entrepreneurs. And they came to the conclusion that these 5 key skills are fundamental, are foundational to disruptive innovators. There is an additional thought here which cements this thinking. This thought is from Regina Huber, who said innovation is not just about machines or algorithms, it's about you. In essence, the person, the innovator, the person who is driving innovation, the shaping of that person is fundamental, is foundational, is critical to the outcomes of the journey of innovation. Now, let me break down these 5 elements to their descriptions. This basically is a figure picked from one of the materials of the writers. Associating is about making connections across unrelated questions, problems, or ideas. And think of it as building analogies. Innovative people are able to build analogies, basically relate things in life to things in their work. For example, relate things in the wild to things in your workspace. And 2 examples I'll give is a picture I saw the other day where a mosquito was sitting on the head of a cobra. Now, in a typical cobra cobra situation with a human, you are afraid of the bite. But you see, the mosquito is not afraid of the bite because it has a certain advantage. It can avoid the bite by positioning itself somewhere that is completely out of reach of the cobra, yet in close proximity to the cobra to be able to do harm. Now, the same way you could talk about the analogy given by Richard Rumelt in his book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, where he talks about David and Goliath. David, a small young boy who had no experience in warfare, fighting an experienced giant in the battlefield. Now, that fight could have turned many ways, but because David positioned himself as that person who doesn't need an armor, who needs a sling and a stone, and who could fight from a distance, he had a certain advantage over Goliath. Now, Richard used that analogy to talk about small players in the market versus big players in the market, which is similar to the mosquito cobra illustration. So being able to do that kind of association, stretch one's thinking to that realm where you are basically comparing things in life and being able to make meaning out of them, is associating, questioning, asking questions to understand why and how things have changed or have been disrupted. Many of us simply accept the way things are, but innovators interrogate. They ask questions. They want to delve deeper so that they can basically unearth what might be. The third one is observing. Observing is about carefully watching things, watching customers, products, services, companies, gaining insights, analyzing competitors, analyzing customers, going through the journey of customers with them. And we had an example recently where the one of the he's an official of the Nigerian government, Bosun Tijani, who went through the journey by road from Lagos to Benin Republic, and in doing that, I believe he experienced what the ordinary citizens might experience in going through that journey. And according to him, he's building innovative solutions that could ease that experience using technology. So being able to observe, to watch what's going on is one way to improve, or one signal that you are basically that the kind of innovator that we want to see. All right. Networking, very important aspect of in an innovator's DNA. Testing ideas through a diverse network of people who vary in backgrounds and perspective. And this is so important. Many times we try to validate ourselves by asking people who will, basically support our ideas rather than interrogating what we are doing from the perspective of a diverse audience. And this is so important for real innovators. They want to know what your opinions are. They want to sample opinions from a set of people that are not like them, because that stretches their horizon and gives them the options that are beyond what they would have ordinarily thought about. And finally, experimenting, visiting new places, trying new things, new information. The experimenting means I am willing to fail. And in the world of innovation, you fail forward. You fail so many times so that you can finally succeed properly. In the world of innovation, experimenting means trying what one is not sure of, what has not been done before, because innovation is about creating new idea, new things that have not been done before, or doing old things in new ways. Now let's look at how the tech landscape might be evolving. This is not a difficult question to interrogate. The reason being that there's so much research around it. If you put a question like this about the 2026 outlook in ChatGPT, you might get a list that looks something like this. Gen AI, agentic AI, autonomous systems, all the way to quantum-inspired computing. Now, you could go forward and research on all this, but what is more important to us, to the innovators, to our strategic thinkers, is what the implications are. What the implications are in terms of governance and regulation. Nations are changing their position around data residency, for example. People are asking questions around governance of AI because there are so many uncertainties about the evolution of these technologies. Even those who began these research problems are questioning where we are going with them. Then there's the other aspect of cybersecurity and risk. How much are we exposing ourselves? How much organizations are exposing themselves with when they adopt these large LLMs, which are advancing so quickly. Then cross-functional coordination, who is going to own the products, who is going to architect end to end, who is going to project manage the deliverables, and so forth. Then sustainability and environment. And this brings me to a recent conversation from Scott Logic. Scott Logic essentially did a research interrogating the amount of power that that data centers running servers that basically run LLMs and AI systems are consuming. And we are asking ourselves, or the question they are putting to us is, can we keep up with this? Can we keep up with this? What else are we going to damage in the environment to make sure we can sustain AI? Do we need to move to edge computing or to put these LLMs in people's mobiles? Do we need to change the way we're looking at it? Do we need to recycle power, so to speak? Now, the reason why these implications are important is that beyond the core tech, beyond the coding and the machine learning and the prompt engineering and all the fancy stuff, there is also the periphery of these emerging technologies, which people, career professionals, and innovative entrepreneurs can take advantage of as they pursue the possibilities of creating solutions that matter as these technologies evolve. So the world has changed. The world is changing so much, and this is a more or less a digression around the gig economy. And this is important because as these technologies emerge, people are asking, so what do we do? So will AI replace us? What does the world of work look like? The world of work has been changing for a while, and these days people want a little more flexibility and autonomy. People want to take on tasks or projects rather than just sit and say, have a title for eternity. People want to be part of a marketplace of technologists where they become the products that high-paying employers are shopping for. People want to be able to earn from multiple streams. One stream is not enough, and people want to act as independent contractors and be compensated based on what they're able to deliver rather than based on how much time they spend in the office, for example. They want the fluidity in their work. And some organizations also want a fluid workforce. They want to be able to say, can you do this? Not am I this? It's not about am I an architect? It's about can you deliver on this specific project? So the new world of work demands a new kind of worker. So for the entrepreneurs, the question becomes, why do you want to hire if you can, why do you want to hire on a permanent basis if you can leverage people's skills who are basically freelancers? So that is probably the way to go for startups. And for those who are in the work job marketplace, the question becomes, what skills do I need to hone rapidly to fit in this technology marketplace, the technology skills marketplace, so to speak? So in essence, what kind of person am I going to become in this world of disruption, emerging technologies, innovation? How can I become strategic in positioning myself? That is a question that we interrogate. Number one, leaders are confronted with new problems periodically. So one of the things we want to do is embrace problems. Challenges are an opportunity to learn something new. So we must be ready to adapt. We must be able to morph when we need to. Leaders thrive at learning how to learn, not just learning something specific. It's a vital skill, and we must embrace it, being able to say, I know how to find the answers to the questions I'm asking. Learning facts is one thing, invoking intuition is also a deeper level. Intuition means there's a deeper level of thought. Maybe it's not thought, but you just have a hunch that this might work and you are ready to pursue it. So these are like the combination of where strategy is what strategy is, where innovation is leading us, what the emerging technologies are telling us, and what kind of people we have to become in this present dispensation to take advantage of the changes that are happening. Um, thank you.